Hey everybody, welcome. Today we're so excited to show you single sign-on with Focus and Acuity. First, Brad is going to walk us through the old system, how it works right now, and then Jerome is going to show us the new upgraded single sign-on. Brad, can you tell us a little bit more?
Okay, thanks, Christina. So when we originally built Focus and Acuity, on purpose, they use separate security models. Focus is a monitoring only environment where you can access data about your company, your users, and your facilities, but there's no control. All control functions or the ability to change how the Acuity computers operate at your renewable facilities are located at the site, and they use their own security so that Acuity can sit within what's called the electronic security perimeter of the site. And for our users, although that's secure, it causes an unfortunate issue when they're trying to manage all their logins. Let me show you what that looks like. So today I'm logged in and I'm looking at one of our customers' sites that we have access to for demonstrations here. And as you can see, they have a host of different facilities. So if I wanted to look at this site, Chalkawinity, I have the option to monitor it in Focus. And I can actually monitor all of my facilities in Focus as a read-only user. But if I wanted to go to the site and do any type of control or change the configuration of the site, I now have to go to Acuity, which is located securely at the site. And when I go to Acuity, I'm going to be asked to log in again. So while this is very secure, especially for companies that have 10, 20, or even 100 sites, having to log in multiple locations and manage the user accounts in multiple locations can become a real administrative chore. So single sign-on is our solution for this, and I'm going to switch over to Jerome to let him talk to you about how this works. Jerome?
Sounds good. All right, let me just share my screen. To start the talk on SSL, we'll first talk about how to enable it. And that actually is done on the Acuity side of things. And the only person who can enable and disable single sign-on is the owner account for that site. So here, if I'll show you, the owner account for this site is operations@solarops.com. Only operations@solarops.com can enable and disable SSL. So here I'll walk you through the process of actually enabling it. By default, all of your sites will not have SSO enabled. So you will have to enable it for each site that you want it to be enabled on. Here I'll show you how to enable Focus single sign-on. So if you go to Config Integrations External APIs, it will load this page. This is the page where you can enable it. So if you go to Focus Cloud Platform API and you hit Edit, you'll see a checkbox down here which is called Focus Single Sign-On, Focus SSO. Right now it's disabled. So when single sign-on is disabled, Acuity may only be accessed using local user accounts. So those are the accounts that you set up locally that right now, all the accounts on the site, those are local accounts. When you enable it, then Focus is only going to be accessed via single sign-on user accounts, which are the accounts, their Focus accounts, or by the local Acuity owner account, which means that any local accounts that are already on the site will no longer have access. So do keep that in mind when you are enabling single sign-on. So if you hit save, now single sign-on is enabled. So here I'll go to another tab and I'll show you how that works. So here I'm signed in to my account. So in Focus, I'll just go to the monitoring page. This is our little test environment for single sign-on. But if I hit launch Acuity, it'll launch Acuity, and I'll be already signed in. Jerome Kessler. So here you'll see all your Focus information. So your name comes from Focus, your phone number, your email, as well as your role. So right now in Focus, you could dictate whether people are Acuity admins, Acuity engineers, and so forth and so on. So this will allow you to have access to as many sites that you have access to in Focus. You'll now be able to access them in Acuity. And so now it's very simple also to turn it off. So you could just go here and turn single sign-on off. And also keep in mind, when you do disable single sign-on, the local users do regain access. So by enabling single sign-on, it's not like you're removing any of the accounts. You're just not allowing them to sign in. So if I disable it and I go back, you'll see that my single sign-on user got logged out. So do keep that in mind in whatever path that you choose. The other users will be logged out. So do keep in mind that this is actually coming out with our newest version of Acuity 2.02, Barium. So in actually Focus, you could see your site's, if it has single sign-on. So this site, DevOffice, has SSO enabled, and you'll be able to view things like if it's enabled, the user accounts, any shares. So this really tells you who has access to the site, which is helpful information from the Focus side of things. But so if you go to a site that, let's just say, we'll go to Exis. All right, so there's a table in the settings page of your organization called Facility Single Sign-On Status, and that should show you which sites, what their current authentication method is, and as well as if they have the right version for single sign-on. So as you can see, Battleboro has a single sign-on enabled, but all these other sites, they need to be updated. So do keep that in mind when you're trying to enable a single sign-on on your site. To view the actual site version, all you have to do is just click the user icon, and it'll appear right down here, Acuity Barium 2.02. So this is the minimum version that you need to have single sign-on. So if you would like to update, it is really simple. You go to System, Resources. You'll just see an Update Now button. You just click Update Now, and then you hit Yes, and then that will update you to the most recent version.
All right, so I'm in our test environment, and with our new single sign-on security system, I want to talk about roles. So whenever you add a user to your organization, each user is assigned one or more roles, and these are security roles that give them permissions in your organizations, to your facilities, and potentially even to your Acuity Edge instances. As an organization, you may want to create your own roles to control how your users can interact with the information in Focus. If you're an admin for your organization, you'll have access to the Settings tab, and under Security Roles, you'll see the existing 3 roles that came with your organization. But today, let's create a new one. So specifically, I want to create a role for my operations group so that they can actually have admin privileges to the Acuity instances that we monitor. So I'm just going to give a very basic name here and a description. So the first thing I'm going to do is simply assign the permission that I want these people to have. And all of the permissions are prefixed with either organization, facility, or in this case, Acuity. So I want these people to be operators who have controls permissions in the Acuity instances. Now I have an option at this point. I can either choose that this will apply to all facilities that are under my organization by default by clicking on this organization option. Or if I turn this off, I can specify the exact facilities that I want my operators to have access to. And in this case, I only want to give them access to 3 sites: Ararat Rock, Montgomery, and Battleboro. So we have the operator permission for Acuity set up. We have the 3 facilities that this permission will be granted for. And now I just need to add some users. Okay, and I have my 3 users set up. Now all I have to do is save it. So now I can see under my security roles that I have an operator control group. I have my description, and at any time I can come back and see who is in that group. If a user ever leaves the organization, I can simply remove them from the group. Or if I ever want to add or remove a facility from the group, I can remove them easily as well and just hit save to update. So roles are a very powerful way that you can segment whom in your organization can have access to what type of permissions in your organization, your facilities, and your Acuity Edge instances.
So thank you, Brad, for showing us those roles in Focus. Now, this is important because when you enable single sign-on, the local users for Acuity will be disabled. That means that users will need to access Acuity through Focus. Since users will have to access Acuity through Focus, you'll need to make sure that they have the appropriate roles and permissions first. That's it for roles and permissions. Well, Brad, Jerome, thank you so much for walking us through single sign-on.
Thanks,
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Drew.